Hello everybody, welcome back to Daily Dictation 218, the answers for DD 218. If you have not seen the original video, click on one of these, do the dictation, and then come back here, and I'll give you the answers. Are you ready? Here you go. At 63 years old, this Chinese grandmother lives in a 50 square foot room with her two grandchildren. She pays $450 a month for them to share bunk beds, eat, and sleep in a home that's basically a metal cage. Okay? So there's a couple of confusing things, especially this, and everything else was not too bad at 63 years old. So, the person is 63 years old. Me, I am... How old am I? I will be... Wait a minute, I was born in 1967, so that means this is 2000. So I'm 46. I will be 46 years old. So I'm still 45. Really? Cool. Anyway, at 63 years old. So at 45 years old, I am now teaching English online. At 63 years old, she is something, something, something. How about you at your age? Let's say you are 32 years old. At 32 years old, you are now studying English with Coach Shane. Okay? That's how we use it. So, at 63 years old, this Chinese grandmother lives right now, the nuance is now because of here, lives now, where? In a 50 square foot, okay? So we can say 50 square feet, FT with a 2, square feet. And to write it out, SQUARE, F, in this case, in a 50 square foot room, adjective, so it's not feet, it is foot, okay? It's not plural, it's singular, so we need dashes. There's no S. 50 square foot room. It all goes together. A 50 square foot room. So there's no dashes. Here, there's no dash. I'm sorry, we have dashes. Here, there's no dash. 63 years old. Okay? At 63 years old. No hyphens. We got a plural here. 50 square foot room. No plural, so we need hyphens. One more time. If it is plural, if there's an S, no dash, no hyphen. If it is singular, if there is no S, we need dashes. Okay? So, 50 square feet, that's really tiny. 50 square feet, I have to do the math, is this many square meters. Really tiny, really tiny. So at 63 years old, this Chinese grandmother lives in a 50 square foot room with who? With her two grandchildren. That's kind of sad. That's a really tiny place for 3 people. She pays $450 a month. Now, $450. The sound, the word is here, but dollars. But when we write it, we put the dollar sign in front. Now, I have a question. Is this Hong Kong dollars or US dollars? I don't know. So if there is somebody from Hong Kong watching this video, can you guess? Is it 450 US dollars or 450 Hong Kong dollars? If it's 450 US dollars, that's a lot of money. I mean, a really huge amount of money for 50 square feet. My goodness. Hopefully it's Hong Kong dollars, but I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway, she pays $450 a month, every month, her rent. For them, the two grandchildren and her, to share bunk beds. So they share bunk beds. What kind of beds? This is a bunk bed. It's got an upper level and a lower level, so bunk beds. Now, when I was young, I wanted to have bunk beds, but I didn't have a brother, so I only had a regular bed. But in this tiny house, you need to have bunk beds so that everybody can sleep in the same room. It's sad. So they share bunk beds, they eat together, and sleep in a home. That is basically a metal cage. This home is basically a metal cage. That's basically, instead of basically, we could say just or simply. So if you look at this home, you're like, oh my God, this is like a metal cage. Some of the places are really metal cages. Yeah. This is really sad that, well, what's sad is, I mean, there are poor people all around the world. Some people live in tents, some people have no homes, but this is Hong Kong, one of the wealthiest cities in the world, and for a family, and this is a grandmother and two children living like this. It breaks your heart. If it's a 30-year-old guy living like this, well, it's his choice. Work harder. We can complain. But it's two little kids and an older lady. So it's sad. It's really sad. So the question is, should the government do something? This is a very complicated subject. We'll talk in a little bit later. Let's go back to the story. Do you understand the words? Now, a metal cage. It does sound just like M-E-D-A-L. A-L. And some students wrote M-I-D-D-L-E. So let's compare. Middle, metal, metal. However, in American English, we use that flat T, which makes it sound like a D. Metal, metal. Some people will say, oh no, there is a difference in the sound. And yes, it's possible, but 99% of the time, there's no difference. Metal, metal. This is different. Middle, metal, middle, metal, middle, metal. In the Olympics, the middle medal is the silver medal. Gold, silver, bronze. The middle medal, the silver medal. Okay? So this was tough. And, bunk beds. Bunk beds. Bunk beds. That's just the term we use for the two-story beds. Do you have bunk beds? I like bunk beds. They're cool. I don't have them. Okay, pronunciation. At 63 years old, this Chinese grandmother, keep the capital C, grandmother's perfect, but the N and the M can cancel the D. Grandmother, lives in a 50 square foot, F-O-O-T, lives in a 50 square foot room with her, the faster we say it, we can cancel the H, with her two grandchildren. She pays $450. Now, the American pronunciation, $450. Listen again and she says $450. But my recommendation, say it properly, $450. No and. Most Americans will use and. Be comfortable. Do what you want. She pays $450 a month. Dollars a month. Dollars a month. Dollars a month for them to share bunk beds, eat and sleep, in a home, sleep in a home. That's basically a metal cage. And this is not a separate sentence. We can add a period, 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 and ellipses. We can add a dot, 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 but it shouldn't be another sentence. Okay? All right? Okay, let's do it 2 more times together, slowly and then a little bit quickly. You ready? At 63 years old, this Chinese grandmother lives in a 50 square foot room with her 2 grandchildren. She pays $450 a month for them to share bunk beds, eat, and sleep in a home. That's basically a metal cage. At 63 years old, this Chinese grandmother lives in a 50 square foot room with her 2 grandchildren. She pays $450 a month for them to share bunk beds, eat, and sleep in a home. That's basically a metal cage. It is a sad story, and I gave the question, what can we do to help the poor people? And you have many ideas, work, give them jobs. That's the most important thing. Get away from the cities, go back to the countries, the smaller communities. That's important. The government should maybe do something. Education is important. I agree. I think if the government should do something, the government should try to create jobs. A bigger government is not the answer, in my opinion. A smaller government, a local government, is more important. Creating jobs, creating a strong local community, I think is most important. But you know what? One of our listeners, one of our watchers, gave this message, and I'll read the message. My family is poor too, but luckily we still have a small house. So we often help poor people, homeless people that we know, by letting them stay in my home without paying any money. They go out in the daytime to earn their living and come back to my house at night to sleep. We treat them very nicely, and they always tell us that they feel like they are members of our family. That's all we can do for them right now. And that person is Duc Dao in Vietnam. I hope my pronunciation was okay. And man, bravo to you. I think that is absolutely the most wonderful thing that you can do to help people. Give them a nice, dry, warm, clean place to stay. Let them work, save some money so that they can create their own home. And maybe they can help other people. Being a good neighbor is probably the best thing that we can do to help prevent poverty. Poverty has always existed throughout history. But being a good neighbor is probably the best answer. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you guys next lesson.